welcome everybody. We are back again for number 2. So thank you for those who are coming back with us and anybody that's listening to the replay. And Marlene, who's up at 3 a.m. in Melbourne, Australia, a beautiful city. I have been. Beautiful city. So thank you so much. We are back for our last day of the summit. We have a ton of lives today, and we just want to do a quick thank you to our event sponsor, which is KB Riley. And I'm going to do this one quickly today because we're going to do it so many times. KB Riley does 3D cards. She did a great presentation on Thursday. Go back and watch the live, and she showed all of her cards. I think there were like 30 cards that she pulled up by the time we were finished. So you can get a really good feel for the fact that not only do they create the pop-up, but they create add-ons to the pop-up so you can change them. You can change them from like a regular house to a different house, to a church, to a bar, a whole bunch of really cool things. So check that out. And then we have our day sponsors. We don't have a day sponsor today. We have our creative sponsors, which is Whimsy Stamps, who do really cool and fun stamps. And if you're a VIP, there's a great coupon in the VIP package from Whimsy Stamps. And they also did a presentation on Thursday. And we have Zebra Pens Canada. So yes, it's for Canada only, but it's a Zebra Pens Canada. They have a lot of really cool pens, and they have something in the VIP package as well. So I did that.
The VIP gift or the discount is Canada only. However, Zebra Pens is worldwide.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So you can find them and do them worldwide. Today is laundry day, so I'll be in and out. That's fine. Laundry days are important. So welcome, MK Gunn. We have to figure out all of this stuff. We do a lot of little questions and introductions. So MK is doing the presentation today, and we are going to get started with our kind of canned questions to get people going. But I'm going to change our view. I'm going to put you in the bigger spot. There we go. Where in the world are you? So that's always our easy question. If you don't know where you are, then we're in trouble. But where are you in the world?
I am in Spring Creek, Nevada. So it is the northeastern part of Nevada.
Excellent.
Nowhere near Reno or Vegas. So
Nevada's a beautiful state. You didn't get hit by snow like your northern friends did you? Or
yes. Yep, we've already seen snow. We saw snow starting to fall about a week before October.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I noticed there were some big snowstorms the other day in Colorado, and they were showing snow in New Mexico, which I thought was like, okay. The snow has happened in the States. See, we're Canadian. We know more about the States sometimes than they do themselves, but that's a pretty normal way of our news cycle happens. Are you a card maker, a scrapbooker, multimedia? How do you categorize yourself in the crafting world?
Paper lover. I mostly love scrapbooking, but I do have a local card group, and I also love mixed media. So
excellent.
Everything.
How did you start? What got you into scrapbooking and paper loving?
Oh, wow. Back in the 90s, I went to a close to my heart get together, and we made our pages from scratch. We started out with plain white pieces of paper and watched it all come together with ink and stamps and all the fun stuff. It was fabulous, and I was hooked.
That'll do it.
Good.
And now you can get paper that has all the stamps on it and the stuff.
Right?
Never asked this question. Do you guys ever get paper that you never use? Like it's just so pretty you don't want to cut it and you don't want to use it? Does that happen to you?
Oh, absolutely. I frame it.
Just the paper. That's cool.
Just the paper. I have I guess it's a photo box, a photo frame. Anyways, it's shadow box. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
And I put it in there, and then whatever's in front of it is shadowed by that paper. And then when I get bored with it, I take it out and put a new piece in.
Well, that's smart. So what's in front of the shadow?
So many people don't use their paper, Heather, just so you know. And I mean, a lot of it because it's so nice. They don't want to cut it or, cover it up or anything. Yeah.
But that's kind of a cool idea. What's in the front of the shadow box?
In the front, there's a collage of like our favorite family photos. So it starts off with like me and my husband and our first date, and then it goes on to when we got married, and then our kids, and it kind of goes along a path.
That is such a cool idea. You should do like a whole presentation on that. That's such a cool idea because then you're changing the background.
Mhm.
That's what you're doing with your shadow box, which is such a cool idea. See, we're going to go there. We do this all the time. We go places we don't intend to. But that's such a cool idea, because then you have like different levels, and then you just change your background and put another piece of paper you love in the back.
Yeah, that way it's always updated. And normally I change the background when I go to add a new photo.
Okay.
So
that makes sense. But I mean, you could also seasonalize it.
So then when you change the background, then do you use that other paper that was the background?
Yes.
Okay, because then it's all of a sudden you can all of a sudden say, oh, it's usable now, right?
Yeah, it's served its purpose. It's probably sun faded.
Okay.
That's a brilliant idea, though. That's a very cool idea.
Yeah, it's actually really good advice. Like I'm going to remember this when my clients say things to me. I'm like, hang on, this is an idea.
So there's a class for you to do, MK, is making a shadow box and then using your paper behind there. You've just given yourself an idea for a class. So when you come back to our next summit, there's a good idea for you to do.
There you go.
Warning, Heather will do this a lot to you, okay?
But it's a cool idea. Does anybody do that with their paper? If you're with us listening and you're a scrapbooker or a card maker, if you have a piece of paper you really can't use, do you have another use for it or a way to show it off without leaving it in a box? Because I would be like that. I would be like, I can't cut this. I can't do that, because I would be like that. So great answer. Can you talk a little bit about the project that you did for us, just so people who haven't maybe seen the video yet or would like to know?
So okay, let's start with a background story. I had no clue what Pocket Pages was until I bought too much and realized I didn't like the way that they were intended to be used. So with that being said, I had a lot of supplies and I needed to figure out a way of how to use them that they're more my style, but I want to love them. And so I have been scrapbooking with Pocket Pages as a full page for quite some time. And then I decided that I don't want to be restricted by just that itty bitty little pocket. And so I started putting things on the outside of my pocket. And that drew a lot of attention on my YouTube channel. So I thought I would share it with you guys. So I like to put so instead of treating each little square as just this is its own picture, this is its own picture, and then like a week's worth of photos or however it was supposed to be intended, I like to do this and call it an insert in between a double page layout. And then that way I can use all the photos that I don't want to pick and choose that aren't going to make it in my layout.
It's a great idea.
Of one event. And then because my title is so long, I didn't want it to be stuck inside just one little square. Mm-hmm. So that's why I do what I do with all of it. And then I talk about what type of adhesive works really well for me, especially on the outsides. And of course, make it look cohesive around to where it looks like one giant scrapbook page instead of just lots of little different scrapbook pages.
Mm-hmm. So. No, and that makes sense. First of all, I'm really happy that I think I'd mentioned this when you first asked, whatever, how many months ago, is it okay with Pocket Pages? And I was like, yes, because people do ask about this and they want, I'm going to say, more life to them. And you've shown us how to do it. So, yes, I think it's a great idea.
Thank you.
Well, and you get cool ideas. It doesn't look like a pocket page. So you're getting good idea, great idea. So there you go. People like your idea. It doesn't look like, I wouldn't have known what it was, not being the scrapbooker of this pair that we are. So I wouldn't know that it was a pocket page. It looks intentional. It looks intentional. It looks like a scrapbooking page.
Well, and then when you put it in between your two-page spread, or even sometimes I only have a one-page spread, and so the other side of the pocket will be of a different subject. It does look like it belonged there instead of an out-of-place pocket. So, yeah.
No, I think it was great. I really do. So, thank you.
It makes sense. It's kind of I was looking at the picture that you shared of it too, which is it's nice that you have the embellishment, if I'm using the right word, going across. Like your Peaceful is the one that I'm seeing going across the
Yes.
whole thing. So yeah, so that's cool. I'm just asking, what is her freebie? So her freebie that goes with your pocket page is fall pocket card printables. So what are the printables that you added as the free? You don't have to show them. You can just talk about them.
Yeah, just
You can go
So,
get
like they are card size, fit on an 8.5 by 11, and they're different sizes. So I believe there was a 4x6, a 4x4, and a couple 3x4s, if I'm not mistaken. And they were the fall theme because we're in November. This is the fall summit. And so one of them features my favorite animal, which is the cute little fox. But they're also great for card fronts. So if you want to fussy cut around the images and apply them to a card front, they're the perfect size for that as well. So there's lots of uses other than just pocket cards. You can fussy cut them out, or I guess if you don't know what fussy cutting is, it's cut around the images and use them as an embellishment outside of being a card maker. You can use them in your scrapbooks and things. Oh, there they are.
We have fun technology. We can show stuff fast when we're able to. It's very pretty. There's your fox. Very cute. And so that's your freebie. And then in the VIP, you also include, I have to get rid of this. You also include you can include a winter one as a VIP. So if you're in a VIP, there's also printables in there as well. Outdoor Pocket Pack Bundle is what you have in the VIP. And I changed the wrong page. I got rid of MK. Sorry.
It's okay.
It's like, there we go. I'm like, got rid of the wrong person. Here we go. We're back. And somehow something's happened and I can see myself twice, which is very distracting. So I'm just going to ignore that. I did something. There you go. Go ahead, Tracy. You had a question.
No, I'm just saying focus, Heather. Don't look at the other things.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, I've got a second image of myself in the corner. It's very kind of weird. Do you scrapbook for fun, or do you have time in your life to scrapbook for fun? Or are you doing it mainly like for the videos that you produce and things like that?
Yes, I scrapbook for fun. I have scrapbooks of my children that I don't do on camera.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully those are the books that the kids want to take. But those ones are mostly done off camera, and I do them for just us.
So how often do you update them?
The ones for the kids?
Yeah.
I do it once a year. So I have 5 children, and I have one that's already grown out of the house, but she still insists to send me pictures and wants scrapbook pages.
Well, that's good.
And then the 4 that are here in the house, I do a 2-page spread of my favorite times with them. And so I do that and put them in their book once a year.
Do you do it on their birthdays, or you do it all together once? Like, do you
lock
the door and do them on the
highlight? A highlight of that year of their life.
Okay.
It's not necessarily birthdays, but it's if they're in a sport, it's a picture of them in their uniform. If they went to, like, now my boys are all going to prom. So when they go and get dressed up, I take pictures of them doing that. That's one of my favorite moments. So I try to pick one a month, unless I get the hand. Everybody gets a teenage hand, right?
But you have to scrapbook that too.
I do. They get that. And sometimes I do an entire page of nothing but that.
Mm-hmm. See, sorry, it's funny that you say the teenage hand, because I have a picture of some friends of mine from when we were in high school. Okay. And I have this one shot where one of them was, got their face covered. And then back then we called it the Sean Penn.
Oh,
because I don't know if you remember, like that's what he had done once. And so I scrapbooked that picture fairly recently, and I'm like, okay, just so you know, I had to explain the difference, right?
Yeah.
Because who knows what people will call it in another 20 years. But anyways,
right.
I just got me going. Sorry. Yep. Yep.
But that's cool. Do you do it? I remember when I asked, do you do it around their birthday? Like create the pages around their birthday, or do you like do everybody's at all? Like lock yourself in a room and do the year in January?
I usually do it in January. So I actually have a, I don't know what to call it, but it's like a schedule.
There you go.
So during January, for my New Year's resolution, I do a scraps challenge. And so I try to use nothing but scraps for the whole month of January in my layout. And I only allow myself for every layout to use one 12 by 12 piece of paper. And that's it, just to lessen my scrap bin that I've accumulated. And so because those are simple layouts, that's when I do my kids' albums. I kind of do them off to the side and take my time with them. They're very quick because they're full of photos more than anything. And then in February or March, depending on how many photos I have, I set up my next year's album with all my photos from the previous year. So if this is 2024, in February and March, I did 2023's album with the photos in it. So I know in chronological order, but I don't scrap in chronological order. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So I do those things, and that's pretty much the only 3 months I have scheduled. Other than that, it's total chaos.
But I love the fact that you do, like, we have a membership called the Scrapbooking Friend Circle, and we do challenges per month. So we did do one, use your scraps. That was the challenge of use your scraps and do that. So we have different challenges per month. And yeah, sometimes challenging yourself is a great way to do it as well, which is use up your scraps. We have lots of discussions about scraps and organizing and doing that. Somebody asked a question yesterday, which Tracy was a no to, but Tracy's a scrapbooker by heart as well. Do you ever just scrap a page to frame it?
To do what?
To frame it. So scrap one page to frame it and hang it on the wall, as opposed to put it in a book.
Yes. I have a hallway that's full of nothing but that with blanks. I mean, I don't have, it's not full, but it's dedicated for that.
And when you do that, are they like one picture per page, or is it different pages? Do you have any themes with them, or it's just?
So I don't, yeah, they're themed. But I don't think I'm not usually a single photo scrapbooker. Yeah. Cause I mean, maybe 2 photos at the minimum, but probably not just one.
And do you change those up?
No. Once they're on the wall, they're there. I have to be picky and choosy on what goes in the wall.
So I don't remember who asked that yesterday.
Are they ones that are your favorites that you just go, you know what, I really like the way this worked? Or is it just because the pictures, the memories? Is it,
It's actually usually more like my firsts. Like this was my first layout using a cut file. This was my first layout using a kit club. This was my first layout. What is it? My mixed media one. Eesh, that needs to come down. But it's more like walls of firsts.
Mm-hmm. Hey, that's interesting. Very interesting.
That's very cool. It's kind of, that's cool. And it's somebody, I can't remember who asked us that yesterday. It was like, do you ever do this and frame it? Which I think is, to me, what you guys create is a work of art. So having them up on the wall and framing them versus in a book or in a pile behind you that people don't see is kind of doing that. Do you have something that you just, like a technique that you absolutely love and you kind of use as much as possible?
I would probably have to say distressing. I think that would be my technique, because I'm that's probably not a good word for me to say. I mostly scrapbook outdoors. And for when I distress my edges, I feel like the outdoors is rough and all that. So yeah, I definitely like to do the distressing. I like to rip my paper. I like to take my tool and rough up the edges and get it to fray, I guess is the right word.
Yeah. I was going to say that probably makes sense. because first of all, I understand when I do outdoor pictures, it's not, it's not necessarily clean cut and that because it's outdoors, it's natural. And that's probably also what made me catch my eye on on like your layouts going, look at
I was
her
gonna
work. It's
Tracy likes
probably
to rip
something like
paper
that
too.
because I like it, right? And I'm going,
I was gonna say, I would say that's something Tracy does a lot. She does the ripped and the not finished as well.
mhm.
Susan said she's done pages and framed them as gifts to somebody, which is another option, which is nice.
Oh, yeah.
Is there a technique you don't like?
Or don't like doing, or it's not you.
Well, the embossing with the heat gun and the powders and no.
I was going to say, you and Tracy are kindred spirits here. Casey doesn't like it either. I don't even have to know that. I was like, you picked two of Tracy's favorite and worst things. Tracy does not like embossing either.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's why you found each other.
Aw.
There was once that I was doing it, and then I don't know, I just you start doing something else, and then I was like, "God, I can't remember. That's hot, and it burned through the paint." And I'm like, yeah, this is not for me. Like, I don't. It's just not. Sorry.
Oh, and then of course, yeah, that's a color though. So Tina says pink.
Oh, I was going to say, is that Tina's answer or that's your answer? You don't have anything pink going on right now. So Tracy doesn't like pink either. Are you guys like doppelgangers? You're like hitting everything Tracy does not like.
Okay, what's your favorite chocolate? Right, come on, let's see where we're at.
Dark chocolate.
Okay. Oh my God, this is okay.
No
Who's
more.
your favorite musician?
My favorite musician?
Like singer or band or whatever.
Def Leppard.
Def Leppard, you said?
Yeah.
Yep, Def Leppard.
Okay. Okay.
Not the favorite, but the
You're just
same
younger.
genre. Same genre.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay.
There you go. I don't know. We have a serious question here now, ladies.
Okay.
What was the small tool you used to fray the edges of your pictures?
Oh my goodness. That is my edge distressor that is packed away. 5 seconds. I do apologize.
No worries.
Oh.
We're used to it. Love it. You definitely have a doppelganger there going there. Someone who likes some things that you like and dislikes the things that you like.
So I made this. It is an edge distressor, and it has a blade inside each one of these little groups so you don't hurt yourself. But it is super thick because I have a lot of friends that have arthritis. And when you hold your scissors and try to fray your edges with the scissors or anything like that, it tends to hurt your hands after the first edge. And so I wanted to come up with something that was nice to put in somebody's hand, had a thickness to where it didn't hurt to hold onto it, to be able to scuff up the edges is what I call it. So that is what I use to rough up all of the edges on my paper, and it's super fast. You could do one little scuff and get that same look that's not as messy as what I like. I like to go over a couple times. Then I end up with a lot of hair on my desk, but that is what that is. It's just
Do you
called an edge
sell that,
distressor.
or is that something you made just for yourself?
No, I sell these, and they are available to Canada. I ship to Canada.
There you go.
That's fine. I'm assuming you ship around the world.
Yes, I do ship around the world.
Okay.
Fantastic.
And because people might ask now, because when I see that, what's the difference between yours and the good old the Tim Holtz one, or some of the other brands that are the same shape? Because it's interesting what you told me about the scissors.
The size.
The size.
So Tim Holtz's is roughly about this size. I don't
Yeah.
have one, but Tim Holtz is roughly this size, and mine is this plus the groove in the edge. Nope, the groove getting down into the blade is deeper. So Tim Holtz's blade, or the other style I've seen, is up close, and a lot of people were complaining that their paper would fall out of the little spot where the blade is. So
No, see, I'm actually listening, because that's right away. I'm like, all right, because I know you do that to a lot like your pages, which obviously you use it. So I'm going, okay, you must have done something that works better than a lot of the other tools like that. So it's
So Susan
interesting.
says
No,
the
I'm
best tool
curious.
ever. So
Mhm.
Susan says the best tool ever, fantastic tool, love mine. So you have fans with your tools as well. So
Good.
I also think the other reason you like MK is I'm looking at her site and there's full of lots of chipboard there, Tracy. So
What?
Tracy loves chipboard. Tracy loves chipboards. Like I said, definitely
I
some
do.
kindred spirit going on here.
Aw.
Susan wants to know if did you see the Def Leppard during their stadium tour? Oh,
No, I've never actually watched them in person.
there you go. Tracy just went to Bruce Springsteen last night. That's why she's hooked on music. So
Oh.
I just went to his concert. I didn't went to him because that would have been a good.
Susan said it was hard to hold the smaller one when using it.
Okay. Yeah.
was
No,
holding
see,
it.
and thank you, Susan, because stuff like that's good to know because, you
Well,
know, I buy some of the other product, but might chat.
what's the difference in prices? Somebody is asking that. I don't know. So
None. I believe you can get the Tim Holtz one anywhere between $7 and $8, and mine is $7.50 in US.
US.
I was just gonna say because I know Suzanne, and I'm writing you down, Suzanne. Because yeah, I know she's Canadian, so that's all. It's all good.
Yes. Oh, lots of wood vineyard too. Okay. This is supposed to be the price. That was supposed to be, what is the price? Well, you got the price, so there you go. In US dollars. Lots of wood vineyard too. She makes some awesome outdoor wood pieces. Tracy's other heart. Tracy's favorite thing is chipboard, so that's why we've come with this.
This is becoming dangerous.
All the things Tracy likes. I don't know. Is the Dusty Attic someone you bring in? I just saw the Dusty Attic here on your site. That's someone you bring
Yes.
in? Yeah.
Yes, it's an Australian-based company, owned by an amazing person, and I fell in love with her stuff, and it was very hard for me to get it here. So I reached out to her and asked if I could be a wholesaler, and I just couldn't. I couldn't say no because it's right up my alley. So, and it takes the distress oxides beautifully. You can paint, color them in with your blending brushes. They're amazing.
A lot of the chipboard that you see me using, Heather, would be Dusty Attics
Yeah, there you go.
because I bring in their stuff all the time too. So yeah, yeah,
Susan
very
says
good
she
company.
has an overabundance of MK's wood veneer. So there you go. How did you get
Do you make
into
your own? Sorry, Heather. Do you make your own chipboard and wood?
Not chipboard. I usually, so the way that I do it is if I find a company that I like say their stencils, I let them do the stencils. I don't want to step on anybody's toes. Same with chipboard. Jenny does a great job at doing her chipboard. She offers a lot of versatile pieces. So why would I compete with that? So I brought in wood and acrylic basically my main reason is because I felt like scrapbooking was missing a few pieces. I felt like they were very girly. I felt like every collection had the same things, maybe not the same design of things, but if you start naming things off, they all had snowmen, they all had flowers, they all have something similar. And I wanted to offer things that were just on the different side. And so I bought a laser and started making my own stuff.
Okay, so mostly the acrylic, which is good to know as well, and wood,
And
like
wood.
not the chipboard. I'm just sorry. I'm just okay. I'm writing notes down.
how do you go about then? So when you're doing it, because I was asking the same question slightly different, is how do you go about producing them? Like, do you get an idea? Does somebody give you an idea? Do you see an idea when you're creating one of your products?
It's mostly my photos. So when I actually it's the middle of taking photos. So we could be doing one of our hikes, and we don't have a lot of mushrooms here, but when I come across a mushroom, I want a mushroom, which is not one of the unique ones, but it's the words, like if I want a different title than anybody else, well, maybe somebody else might want a title like that. Or if I see like I know a lot of people like my gnomes and the gnome houses that I make, because I think inside those little mushrooms, people might be living in there.
Okay.
So it's just different things like that. Is after I've taken a picture or something like that, I feel like if I make this into a layout, what would I want to put on it, type of thing. And so then I would build a release off of one of something like that, and it would just be one thing, and then it blossoms into 30 some other things.
So if I'm looking at your Halloween gnomes, those are ones that you created?
Yes. I actually found, I don't normally do gnomes, but my best friend loves gnomes. And I found a site where someone was doing a gnome every season. And so I thought it would be kind of cool to do like a wizard gnome, and a mummy gnome and things like that. So
there's her gnomes.
Yes. Very cute and different. Just like you said, you're not finding it anywhere, so you're creating it. Good.
There you go. Lots of fun stuff to do. Can they? So I don't know because I don't scrapbook. Can they be painted?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. My favorite thing to use with the wood is, I call them Thule. No, the name of them is Thule Art paint pens.
Okay.
And it's like a small little amount of paint comes out on the tip, and then you don't have to worry about paintbrush, paint strokes, anything like that. And they're just beautiful, and they don't soak into the wood and lose their brightness and their color.
Very
Okay,
cute.
so Heather, we're going to cut this. We're done talking because she's going to cost me money.
That's okay.
Okay, we're done.
Not even
End
for
of
your
conversation,
customers.
ladies. Sorry.
Not even for your customers, just for yourself. So.
Exactly.
As I said, you're kind of speaking the same language, the two of you.
Yep.
What brand of laser do you use?
I use a Glowforge.
So are you producing these yourself then, or do you create the design and then so you're producing them yourself?
Yep, everything's done in-house.
Have you tried? I have no idea what this is. You guys know? Have you tried
Posca?
Posca pens.
The Posca pens actually soak into the wood and lose their vibrance.
And the other ones that you mentioned don't, are they?
No, the Thule Art ones, it's almost like they're thicker than Posca, and so they stay on top and dry exactly as you put them. I mean, once they come out of the pen, they stay that color. They don't fade into the wood pieces. I mean, they're gorgeous.
Good to know. What is Thule T? You got it. Tracy wrote it down. She'll know.
It's Tooli.
Yes.
Yeah. Excellent. That's the cool part about this, is learning all, like, it's what I love in the community is of designers, because you're a scrapbooker, but you're also a designer, and you didn't start that way. So some of the designers that we've had started as designers, started to scrapbook and started to design in scrapbooking, like Karina and Dare to Be Artsy, Cindy. They were designers from a trade, and then they fell into scrapbooking and started to design stamps and dies. You sound like you're a scrapbooker who saw a need and started to design.
And that's exactly how it worked out. Is I never imagined even being a designer. I'd rather leave that to somebody else. But once I get into it, it's hard to stop and say, okay, I think that's enough pieces to put into the shop this month.
And that's fun. Do you ever discontinue it because you are making them yourself? So do you do a certain amount, or is it like order on demand?
I do a certain amount at first, and then I kind of pay attention to the sales to see what's selling, especially my outdoor stuff. And then I just have an unlimited quantity of my outdoor stuff because I can't keep up.
That's a nice problem to have.
Right? It is.
It's a nice problem. It's not always a fun problem to have, but it's a nice problem to have. So, and that's excellent. How, out of your 5 kids, how many are boys, out of curiosity?
I have 3 boys and 2 girls.
Okay.
The girls are on either end. The boys are all in the middle.
And your girls don't like
as you know, like products for the males, right? It is harder to find. So it's great that you're creating it.
they are harder to find.
It is, you know.
Well, and the outdoor
So,
part, which isn't necessarily male or female, but just doing the outdoors and having
yeah.
that connection to it is beautiful.
Mhm.
Any questions specifically for MK? We will have questions because we always do, but any questions that you have about her techniques, about the stuff that she's making, any other questions, we are always open to them, but it takes a moment for us to even get them, which is interesting. Tracy has a
While
question.
we wait, well, no offense. While we wait, I saw some questions. Yes, Suzette, the concert was really good. Okay. Um, I know Debbie asked about Weird Al. Never seen him. Never. Well, he's all right. Anybody else?
Weird Al,
Just
he's got his place in the music industry. Weird Al has his place, as do any other ones. Out of curiosity, have you guys? I know Tracy probably has. Have you scrapped your favorite musicians? There you go.
I have not.
so you know, Heather, I have partial page done, and that's only because the time, like I was gone to a crop, and I said, okay, I'm finally going to do just one little thing, and then I forgot my pictures. So it's downstairs going, complete this thing. But now I'm like, I might add more to it. So there you go. And that was based on the music challenge that we had,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, the last month and the month before in our scrapbooking fun circle. I went, okay, I've got to do something. And
Ah,
then I went, where's my pictures, Trace?
and that's the fun part of challenges, like
So yeah.
challenging yourself or having a challenge given to you. You should kind of
Mhm.
do stuff that you didn't intend to do. So there you go. We have fun coming up with
Gee,
the challenges in our circle. We're always thinking of. We actually had one that you would have been perfect for, which was fauna and creatures or something like that. So we had the
Oh,
outdoor theme of it, and we've had sunrises and sunsets, and we keep doing different ones. But just playing with the outside is kind of fun.
would you be willing one day? One day, don't worry. It's not like, tomorrow we'll call you. Sorry. In 1 month, maybe, like in a month, whatever. I can't speak. To be a presenter in our circle.
So
And
I'd
that would
love
be a
to.
live video.
yeah. So our circle membership once a month. So those who are VIPs have access to the circle for free for the first month and then 20% off. Non-VIPs, you can come in for 15%. But our circle is we have one expert per month coming in and speaking. And some of our experts have come from our members because they want to present, which is really cool. And then we have themes per month, and then we scrap together. There's always a live session every week. And most of them are just come and craft. We have lots of people who come and don't craft. They just come to chat. It's turned into something we hadn't expected. It'll be our first anniversary in December. We launched it last December. People just come for the community, but we do bring an expert in, but it's a live workshop. It's not pre-recorded. So everybody's in it. We're in a Zoom room so that people can ask questions and do that. So it's got that live component. And we have lots of fun with it. So if you're there in a VIP, don't forget to take advantage. I can't remember when the coupon expires, but it is coming up in the next couple of days. So yeah, but we're always looking for speakers, MK. So there you go.
Don't worry, we can chat after. It was just, I was like,
She's not. So, what is? Do you create scrapbooks as gifts, or is it something you kind of do for yourself and your family?
I used to.
Mm-hmm.
I used to. My when I had a real job, and I had my scrapbook side hustle.
Mm-hmm.
I used to make scrapbooks for other people before I even started scrapbooking for myself. And that was a lot of fun. I did, my favorite one was um, a retirement book for our coroner, our town coroner. And so
okay.
I went out and I bought that gauze stuff and put it all over the layout, and made, I didn't use real Band-Aids, but I made Band-Aids and bandages and things like that. And I had a bunch of, oh, what are they called? Like biohazard signs.
Mm-hmm.
I had a
Yeah.
bunch of those. It was just a fun book. And when he received it at his retirement party, the man cried. It was,
Aww.
Oh
he loved
yeah,
it.
that's amazing. That'd be interesting.
Well, that's the cool thing about what you guys do, both from paper crafting and card making, is you're personalizing something that's very unique. So, and now you don't do it as much now that you're doing this as your not side hustle.
Right. Yeah. Now it seems like the last person that asked me to do a book for them, it was a book of their last trip that they did with their family in, I want to say, Ireland or Scotland. And it took me so long to do it in between all of my other projects that I had to do that I felt guilty, having, not being able to have it done in a month or so. So yeah, it was, I just was like, I can't do this anymore. I need to do my job.
Do you,
when you
go ahead, Tracy.
Because I've made albums for clients, right? And do you find that harder to do them when it's your own pictures?
Actually, I find it easier.
Okay.
Which is weird because I feel like with my own pictures, I'm a little bit more picky on having to have the right embellishment, having to have it look just right, where I feel a little bit more freer, and I can be a little bit more creative with other people's. Like I just get so excited seeing, oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. Like the castle work that was in his photos, they were fabulous. And I just couldn't wait to do a brick background and make it look like, how you've seen a picture where it's up close and then in the background is a fuzzy picture of it farther away.
Yes. Yes.
I just couldn't wait to do that technique with his photos. And it was so fun.
Yeah, that's a great question. If you're still, because their comments have gotten slow, which doesn't mean they aren't there. They're there. Do you, for people who are scrapbookers, do you find it easier to make stuff for yourself, or is it easier to make stuff for someone else?
To me, I find it, if it's for a client, especially or even if I'm giving it as a gift, I'm trying to be more precise, and make sure it's straight, the lines or whatever, right? Whereas in my own, I'm like, yeah, I don't care if it's a rip, you cover it up, right? Or you go, fine, I wasn't going to distress that, but now I will, or whatever it is, But for somebody else, I'm like, no, that had to be boom. You don't want those complaints, I guess.
Right.
But
well, it's different too if you're making it for someone who's paid you to make it, or if you're making it for a gift, right? That would be different as well too.
Yes, yes,
different
it is.
kind of thing. So excellent.
I also think that it's easier to get away with teeny tiny little mistakes like that because they're not scrapbookers.
Yeah.
True.
So you could make a page that is plain and simple and has maybe like 5 pictures and a title, and they'll love it. Not that I do that, but I'm just saying it's because they're not us.
Yeah, and that's exactly true. We always criticize ourselves more than what they wouldn't even notice what you might notice. So
right.
And then just because you just said something like, you've got the pictures and maybe you said something on there, sorry. And I find too, when they're a client and you've agreed on a price, you have to go, well, I would want to add this or that, but it's like, no, that's enough because do the next page because you can only do so much for a certain amount of money, right?
Right.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
yes,
that's where the business mind for me is like, okay, Trace, no, I know I would want to do this a bit differently on my own layout, but that's not that. Or if I've asked their styles ahead of time, right? Then I go, they won't like that. So you have to do it their way. It's hard sometimes, but it's interesting.
Excellent. I haven't seen comments come through, so I'm not sure if they're quiet or we're just not seeing their comments.
Yeah.
Usually they're very rarely quiet, so I'm just curious if we're not seeing their comments. That's why I'm like distracted over here trying to see, what happens if I go and look?
Yeah.
But if you're still there, say hi, everyone. I'm not sure if we're seeing your comments. If we're not seeing your comments, we will circle back to see them.
Yeah.
It's very unusual for us not to get comments from people.
Mm-hmm.
And this is technology. It can do its own thing whenever it wants. But thank you so much for coming and joining us and sharing, obviously, yours and Tracy's passion. You both have the same passion.
I didn't do this on purpose,
oh yeah, so we are not seeing your comments. Okay, I'm circling back because I am now caught up to the comments that we're not seeing. Thank you. Assuming they're opaque. Okay, I have no idea the context of this, so we weren't seeing your comments for some reason, but assuming those are opaque on paper then? So we're
Probably the
talking about
markers.
the pins, the
Probably the
markers.
Posca pins. So
Yes.
they're not opaque at all. The Posca pens are very vibrant, but for some reason they like to soak into the wood. And when you have something that soaks in, it loses its vibrancy and looks faded, which if that's what you're looking for, then that's perfect.
Okay.
So some formulas, I guess I would say the Posca pens are a little bit more wetter, and that's why they soak in, where the other Thule art ones are thicker. They even come out thicker, like they almost come out as a bubble.
Okay. The next question is, what's a good dye pen for the wood so the grains can still be seen?
Oh, I would probably use a marker if you want the grains to be seen and not a paint pen.
Okay. Oh, this one, Susan, I'm not sure I can get our context here. My question was way back about how do you print your photos?
For my yearly photos, I actually just use Walmart because I'm not very picky, and I scrapbook for me, so it doesn't have to be high quality photos. So I use Walmart when I'm scrapbooking for my yearly because I print thousands of pictures. But at home, I have a PictureMate, Epson PictureMate.
Okay.
Sorry, Heather, I know you're going to read the questions, but for fun, are you the matte or glossy finish?
Matte.
No, you are.
I like matte finish too. So
You go to Walmart because you get the different sizes. Anyway, sorry, keep going, Heather.
that's okay. Tina has scrapped my favorites, which I'm sure is going back to concerts. Susan, I have not done any of my concerts. I have gone to my boyfriend, but her boyfriend's in a band, so she scraps that all the time. I've been thinking about doing a concert album. So this is Cindy. I think of doing a concert album of Ask the Artist, of the artist I've seen. I do gift books all the time. Cindy, you should do that. I'm catching up here. Whoa. Sorry. Like I said, we're catching up on your comments because we couldn't see them on
sorry,
the
everybody. We can't see them. That's weird.
I have not done any of the concerts I've gone to. Oh, so I said that one. I've been thinking about doing it. I've got a question. I do my sister's scrapbooks. So going back to doing somebody else's scrapbooks, it's easier for me to purge photos because I'm not as tied to the event. So when her sister gives her things like that, it's easier to purge photos. But I want every page to be a masterpiece because other people are keeping them. So yeah, similar kind of that masterpiece, but I can see how it would be easier to select the photo because you don't know who they are. You're looking for composition and that stuff. And the rest of them, hi, still here, was asking it about pens you like on wood. I hope we answered that for you, Susan, because I can now see the comments when I'm looking on YouTube. So that's the first time we've had that happen where the comments stopped. So it's good to know. But I am here now looking on YouTube at your comments. I'm curious, and everyone else might know the answer, but remember, I'm not the scrapbooker here. Oh, now we have comments coming back.
Yeah, it just popped up. We're all like, whoa.
Where'd that one come from? What size do you mainly scrap in?
Size photo or size layout?
Size photo or size layout, Crafty? No, Selka, we're in another application, so that's not why we're not seeing the comments is different. We're in something called Restream. So we've not had problems seeing comments until now.
Okay, what size? We'll start with the scrapbook and then go with the photos.
I do all sizes of scrapbooks. So another backstory. I love mini albums, but I don't love mini albums. I feel like there's so many people touching them that the little flips and flaps start ripping and tearing and all that stuff. So I wanted to add that form of mini album in my 12 by 12 scrapbooks. So I decided that I'm not going to just do 12 by 12s. I do 8.5 by 11s, 9 by 12s, 6 by 8s, 6 by 6, 8 by 8, 8.5 by 11. I think I already said. And they all go in my 12 by 12 intermixed. So that way it's almost like a mini album with the flips and the flaps and all the different size pages and things. So
okay, so you do an 8.5 by 11, and you're putting that how in your 12 by 12?
It actually so I use 3 ring binders and the holes line up perfectly.
Oh, so you'll have like a smaller page protector kind of thing. That's
Yep.
interesting.
Yep. Just go and like even Office Max has the 8.5 by 11 page protectors.
That's interesting because you do that all the time in the mini albums, like the 6x8s, right? But not in the 12x12s. You're the first person I've ever heard say that. Okay, interesting. No, it is. It's interesting.
Ideas.
It's good. Anyway,
It also helps blend all your pocket pages in too, because you see the pocket pages and they're all smaller little pieces. And then when you flip it and you have a 9 by 12, a couple pages back, and then it's a different size as well. And so it's a good mix.
Awesome. So many tips.
okay, very different.
I just looked at the time, Tracy, and we have another one at 12. Don't
Yes,
we?
I know. I know.
How we get into this.
We'd be like this all day.
MK, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for being part of the summit. You and Tracy are obviously kindred spirits when it comes to your scrapbooking stuff. So we really thank you. Somebody said they scrap like that as well. See, now the comments aren't coming through. We'll just have to keep looking on the other way. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. Love having you. Hope you'll come back next time. We do this twice a year. And thanks everybody for listening live. We are live with someone next. Who are we next
with? Tamar. I sorry, I just want to make sure. Tamar. I don't know how to exactly pronounce her name.
And you're getting lots of hearts on YouTube. We don't see the hearts on the application we look at, so it's kind of nice to see the hearts on YouTube. And people say they love the, I can never say this word, rarity, whatever it is. The different things you do. Yep. Thank you. We really appreciate it. So everyone, we will be back in 7 or 8 minutes with Tamar, and it's a busy day for us, but it's so great to bring new people to you. If you haven't met MK, go look at her stuff, go track her stuff. You can get her website. You can go look at all the fun things. There's a YouTube channel, all of that. Follow her, give her some love. We really appreciate it. And thanks so much for joining.